Good morning. This is the week of Showcase, so that's really exciting. I wanted to give you a little bit more information about what to expect when you get to the studio or log on to join us this Thursday, and so how that's going to work. And so Showcase begins at 5:30, and that means the presentations and everything start at 5:30. And so those of you who are going to be on campus, and there's people from each group, which works out really nicely, who will actually be on campus. You guys will need to arrive early to make sure that everything is set up. Now, I'm going to have the room set up as far as chairs, food, all of that. But what you may want to do is arrive early to make sure if you have PowerPoint slides or anything like that, it's loaded on the front, that your teammates who are at a distance have successfully connected via the Hangout, those types of things. And so if you can arrive a little bit early, you might want to consider a one-page or half-page type handout, maybe with the pictures of your teammates, a very brief bio, 1 to 2 sentences, or at least just their name and role that they played on the team, and then the name of your client, any subject matter experts. They will be in the room that night, and so you might want to recognize who they are and maybe just tell what your project was in just a few sentences. I'm not talking about something major, just some of you have very nice team logos, you might want to put that on there, but just something that could be passed out to the audience. And then there will be food there, and so you're encouraged, if you get there early, to go ahead and eat, or you can wait till the end to eat. Obviously, you're not going to have your plate at the front eating while you're presenting. So just make sure that you find time to work in some food that way. Also, let's see, it's professional dress, so make sure you're dressed professionally. While you're there, I will handle setup of the room, but you guys still need to be there to make sure that you've connected to your friends at a distance, and I will set up a Google Hangout for that. Okay, so one thing that's important about that is, because all of the teams, I'm going to have a separate Google Hangout for other students and friends that may want to log on to watch the showcase, and then I'll have this Hangout set up for you guys that are at a distance. And so one thing is, once I've logged in and made that connection, you can't log out of Google and log into another Google account. So that's important, because if you did your presentation on, say, Google Slides, well, then you're stuck unless you've shared it with me. And so if you want to, talk to me one-on-one, each team individually, about how you want to do your slides or any of that, let me know. Another thing is, some of you want to connect, to the internet to show your project. And so, and that's very, very good. You'll want to show your project, but remember Murphy's Law: if something goes wrong, or can go wrong, it will. So I would suggest that you also have some screenshots, just some still screenshots of your project. That way, if for some reason the internet connection goes down or is very slow, something like that, you still have pictures that you could show the audience. So that's something else to keep in mind. As guests are arriving, you need to greet them, introduce yourself, say hello, thank them for coming. Ask them to get some food, refreshments, and then all of that. So I will have seats for you guys up at the front, and then seats for the audience out where they can watch the presentation, but make sure that they feel comfortable and greeted as they come in the door. There's probably going to be about 15 to 20 guests in the room, including clients and subject matter experts and some people from the University of Memphis. And so once it's your turn, and I will let you know prior to that night the order, I'm still working on that, but the order that your teams will go in, you'll each have about 15 minutes. And so you'll want to introduce yourselves briefly and talk about the project, but mainly focus on, kind of what the project was, what you learned, any major things that went really well, any things that were, difficult for you, and then what you learned maybe through the evaluation, like, you thought you had it great, and then these are the types of things that were pointed out during evaluation, any of those types of things. One thing is, and I know that most of you have already done your subject matter expert reviews and even have completed evaluations, some of you have completed evaluations altogether, but your client and your SME, the first time they ever see your project should not be at Showcase. one-to-one, subject matter expert review should have already happened. That way, if there's something majorly wrong, you've had an opportunity to fix it before you show it at Showcase. And also, there will be a time for Q&A, and people in the audience in the past will ask you questions about your project, not trying to quiz you or trip you up, but because they're interested. Well, why did you do this? Or, how did you come up with that idea? Or how does this work? This might be something really cool I would want to do for a class I'm teaching or something. How did you do this? So those types of things. But also, they've been known to ask your subject matter experts or clients questions. And so what you don't want to happen is them to say, I've never seen it, because that would look really, really bad. So I don't think that would happen to any of you, but just make sure that you're aware of that. Also, our master's students in the class, this serves as your master's project exam, so to speak. So all master's students have to have a final master's project. Well, this project is your master's project, and you have to have an oral defense of that. And so you'll be asked some questions, again, just in general about the project, about your role on the team, those types of things. So I can turn in the paperwork for you after that. And so master students, you definitely should expect, a few questions to be addressed specifically to you. So once it ends, I thank everyone for coming, and then hang out a few minutes, and what we'll try to do is debrief. But if people are really hanging around a long time, what I may do is schedule a hangout next week for us to debrief by team, because sometimes it's hard, especially with those of you online, to make you sit there while guests exit the room, because sometimes they stand around and talk and those kinds of things. We want them to feel comfortable, but I also don't want you sitting online for 30 minutes waiting on guests to exit the room. And so if it looks like people are taking a while, I'll go ahead and dismiss you guys, and then I'll send out a date or some dates and times for a possible debrief the next week. Okay, so that's really all there is. The showcase, there is no standard format on what you should tell. It's just everybody needs to participate. You tell what the project was, kind of some of the objectives of the project, and how you went about doing it, why you made some of the decisions that you made in doing this, and then what you've learned through evaluation, and any big aha moments about being an instructional designer. So if you cover all of those things and are very nice to our guests, you'll have a very successful showcase. And I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of you in person, and then connecting online and hearing about your projects. If you have specific questions, and I'm sure you do, please reach out, email me, and I can also have a hangout or something with your team prior to Thursday if you think that would help. Other than that, I will see you soon.